We are live. Hey, how about you, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Live call-in show. I'm your host, Jeffrey Lee, Senior Recruiting Editor for Auburn Live on 3. Today is Sunday, June the 23rd, 2024. We are about 48 hours removed from the Auburn's latest commitment. We're going to talk about the big new addition from Auburn, the flip, that we all saw coming. But we'll talk about that later. We want to get to the phone lines tonight, 701-779-9585. If you haven't already, go ahead and get in line, man. We're going to get to some calls tonight, as many as we can. We're also going to ask that everybody keep it to a 2-question max. If you got 6, 7, 5 questions, whatever, pick your favorite 2, man. We'll try to keep the show going along tonight. Here to do all your answering of your questions, maybe comment on your comments, Mr. Allen Head, Mr. Cole Pinkston. How about you, fellas?
How about you?
How about you? We're going to get to the phone lines as quickly as can, but let's talk about the news from 48 hours ago.
Yes.
Alvin Henderson to, no surprise to us.
No.
I didn't know when, I guess, so I was glad he went ahead and did it, but Alvin Henderson flips his commitment less than a week after taking a Penn State official visit. Obviously, he committed to Penn State. I think it was April the 11th. But to get him in the boat and hopefully be done with it, Allen Head, I'm gonna let Cole Pinkston stewing tonight. Just look at him.
He is. So let's let him stew a little bit longer. Yeah. We all know I love the sound of my own voice. So I promise you, Cole, I'll keep this short, but it's just a huge pickup, right? We've talked about, besides offensive line, running back is the biggest position of need in this class, period.
Absolutely.
And it's really not on the offensive side of the ball anyway, and it's not even close, right? So to get someone in state that you valued, prioritized for 2 years, someone who is active on social media, who is going to campaign for you, who is able to make that drive whenever he wants. Trust me, I'm from Elba, Alabama. That is an hour and 30-minute drive. Any which way you do it, the kid can be there at the drop of a hat. And so I just, from a skill set standpoint, he brings a lot of value to the room. I do think he's going to need to continue to add size. I want to give credit where credit is due. Jason Caldwell said from a frame standpoint, he looks like Trey Mason at the same age. And I think that's fair from a frame standpoint.
Okay.
Game's a little bit different, but I like that comparison from a frame. And if he'll continue to add to his body the way that Trey was able to year over year, and play at around 205 by the time he's a junior, I think he can really probably do something pretty significant on the plains. But a value pickup from a recruiting standpoint, from a perception, a value standpoint on the field. And so I'm glad to see this come to a close and that now he's committed to Auburn. Cole, I'm going to let him turn it to you, and just what do you think about it, man? And go ahead and uncold tonight, big dog. Let it out.
No, I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure we'll address some things tonight that'll be interesting. And the reason is because there's been so much good news for Auburn on a day where news is not super positive. You know, folks got a little spoiled, man.
Sure.
A little spoiled with the good news. This is, I think somebody made a post on the board. It's big boy recruiting. Better hang in there, because there's going to be a lot more downs than today. But with Alvin, man, we were talking about
what happened today.
Listen, not much.
Other recruits took visits to other schools and said good things about them.
Correct.
Right. What else?
Right.
That's it.
I guess a Caleb Cunningham prediction from Chad Simmons to Alabama. That's probably the big one of any significance. But other than that, you're right. They made good comments about – Melendez made great comments about Miami. You know what I mean? Third Scroggins delayed his commitment date. But I think everybody on this panel still feels pretty good about where we stand for Herbert Scroggins. So no harm, no foul. And like you said, Jeffrey, I mean, look, you coined it back in the day, and the saying still holds true. Nothing sells hope and despair in the same day like recruiting, baby. And it's just true.
That's right. And it's nothing crazy, Jeffrey. I have kept up with some of those little storylines today, and they're definitely worth noting, and we'll talk about them. But at the same time, things have been going really, really well. And that little negative news that comes out today, it turns the board upside down. So that's all I was talking about before the show. But
you mean the patient, logical message board, the corner?
You know,
yeah.
that's
the one.
Fan is short for fanatic, right?
They call them fanatics for a reason.
That's right.
Hey, the good news is we talked about Eric Winters. You got him in the boat. Alvin Henderson. We talked about on the recruiting show who are the must-gets, who are the ones that are embarrassing if you lose, and I thought Alvin Henderson was.
Sure.
I thought that was embarrassing if you let him get away to Penn State, and Auburn's not going to let that happen, as you can see. So,
and it didn't. Hey, listen, it's going to be a big July. It's going to be a big July for Auburn. It's going to be a big July for a lot of reasons, and we'll see here. What's today? 23rd. So another week or two. Week or two. We want to get to the phone lines as soon as possible, as quickly as possible. But before we do, talking about recruiting, talking about commitments, talking about getting commitments, building some momentum. No better way to do that or to help Auburn do that than subscribing to On to Victory, Auburn's NIL collective. You want to make a real difference for your student athletes, man. Join On to Victory collective for as little as $17 a month, folks. Best $17 you'll spend if you love recruiting. You can support Auburn athletics and enjoy some awesome perks. They're not just going to take your money and say thanks and turn their back. They're going to throw some awesome perks your way, like monthly giveaways, VIP events. They'll let you in there. They won't let me in, but working on that. Behind the scenes content, fantastic stuff. I love the behind the scenes content. You will too. And of course, cash back on your favorite brands. Plus, you'll get exclusive savings on OTV gear, which is really sweet. They got some cool stuff over there, some good gear. So head on over to ontovictory.co. That's ontovictory.co, not com. ontovictory.co, and join today to support your athletes and get in on these amazing benefits, folks. Go on over there, get signed up. I think we'll have a link in the video. And while you're looking for that link in the description of this video, hit that subscribe button to Auburn Live on 3's YouTube page. What are we up to now? 9.6?
Yes, 9.6. So
Okay.
400 subscribers away from getting to that ever elusive 10K. But guys, I promise you, we're going to do something a little special when we hit 10K. We've kicked a few ideas around. I'm sure we'll announce something here relatively soon. But
Yeah,
really want you to continue to enjoy the podcast, join the community, and go ahead. So you about to jump in, Cole?
No, didn't we say Zach was going to wrestle a bear? Was that what it was?
I think so. I mean, can you imagine Zach versus a bear?
Maybe I'd take Zach.
Zach versus KJ Britt in the parking lot. Can we do that?
Zach in the back has come to the front, which means we might have some folks on the line.
We got more than a lot on the line.
Okay. Well, let's keep. Hey, let's get through them. Let's turn them over, big dog.
Mm-hmm. Turn it to.
As always, we start with our guy Kevin from Wilmer. Kevin, you're live.
Kevin from Wilmer, Alabama.
What's happening? How about you, Kevin?
How about Alvin Henderson?
How about
Called
it,
it.
big dog?
Kevin called it.
Kevin is 2 for 2.
Yes, he is.
Kevin is 2 for 2. Kevin, how'd you feel about that, buddy?
I'm feeling good about it.
Yeah. How about Wanda? How's she feel about it?
She's feeling good too.
So let me see who else you got on your list. You got Eric Winters, check.
Juju
Alvin
Lewis
Henry.
be the next commitment.
Juju Lewis will be the next commitment for Auburn.
Oh,
Juju coming back from an official visit to Colorado today, and he is expected to be done with official visits. Dead period starts tomorrow. Maybe have a commitment in the month of July, or an end of recruitment commitment at the in the month of July. Kevin, let's see who else you got on your list. You didn't have Juju on there. You've got Caleb Cunningham, Antonio Coleman, and Derek Smith.
Derek Smith.
Yeah. Oh, Duke. They call him the Duke. Kevin, you fired up, buddy? How you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling good. I think we go 12-0 again.
Again? You still there? You feeling undefeated?
Yeah.
Okay. The Amazons. How about let's talk about that. What was it? 73 or was it 72? 72 went undefeated. Is that right? Y'all quit talking about how my answer my damn questions. Oh, dang, y'all know I can't think of shit. Y'all supposed to be thinking for me. I'm going undefeated teams.
2004 is the last undefeated team.
Okay, and then 93, and then there was
2010. 2010 national championship.
3 in my lifetime.
Yeah, and then
93.
Cam Coleman will.
What's he going to do?
It's got a.
I think Cam Coleman will have 30 touchdowns.
Oh, you moved it up.
My man
Wanda's over there tickling him or something. You hear?
I did.
He can't even think straight. He didn't give Cam Coleman 2 more touchdowns.
Yeah, he did. Went from 28 to 30.
All right, so Kevin's 2 for 2 at this point. He says Juju Lewis is next. Cam Coleman is going to be a freshman All-American.
Okay.
And he's basically saying.
And he feels very good about Derek Smith.
Very good about Derek Smith. I like it, Kevin.
I do too. I like where your head's at on that, buddy.
Kevin, as always, we appreciate you.
For sure.
We got a good number 2 lined up. Anthony, you're live.
Fellas. Hear you, big dog.
What's up, Anthony?
Talk to us, big dog. You're doing fairly well.
Y'all hear me? Do I sound muffled?
No,
you're good.
Fantastic.
Good.
How y'all doing tonight?
We're doing great. We're going to bypass the POW, the personal question of the week this week. Q is silent because we just got too much stuff to do. All right, we're getting down to business tonight, Anthony. I know you're a big fan of the POW.
Hey, I know everybody want to talk about recruiting, but I'm kind of sick of it. We're all back and forth, so let's talk some football.
I like it.
Big dog. Let's go.
Give me the 3 most important position battles going into the fall camp. That's all I'm got. I ain't gonna hold up the show. Y'all have a good night.
Appreciate you, big dog. 3 most important position battles going into fall camp. Do you start at quarterback, or do you think that's meh?
No.
I mean, I don't think it's
Peyton Thorne's. Yeah, Peyton Thorne's your guy.
I think at this point, yes.
Offensive line, is that set?
No.
Do you have a battle at one of the guard spots? You're basically set on tackles, right? You got Percy Lewis on one side, Too Tall on the other. You got Connor Lew at center.
Because I think you need to see Jeremiah Wright continue to progress. And
do you have a battle at like the Y position, wide receiver? Do you have Perry Thompson trying to? But we're talking most important. I don't feel like you can go wrong with any of those guys at the X, Y, or. So do you turn all your attention to defense?
Yeah, I think that number 3 corner is a good battle right now. The third guy after Kane Lee and Keontae Scott. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Antonio Kite? Is it going to be Jay Crawford, the freshman? I've heard good things about him. It could possibly be him. Where does Champ Anthony fit if they get low on corners? That's one I'm looking at for sure. And then the safety next to Jaron Thompson is one as well.
Yeah, and I tell you what, you said quarterback, Jeffrey, but to me, the number 2 spot at quarterback, that is a very important battle.
I guess I should look past the starting spots.
Looking past the starting spot, I honestly think, Hank versus Holden versus Walker is extremely important for the future of that room. So that's one that's got a lot of intrigue for me. Probably the number 2 running back spot. Can Damari hold on? Does Jeremiah Cobb surpass him? That's got some intrigue for me. And the defensive line. I am very interested to see. You brought in some portal pieces that I think we all feel pretty good about. But do the guys that we're here in spring training, Jason Jones, Gage Keys, do they have something to say about that? Does Keldrick Falk get any kind of competition from Amaris Williams? Do they move Gage Keys out to defensive end? So I think there's a lot of moving pieces there. And then I'm with you, Cole. The third corner and or even the second corner, does Keontae Scott move back inside to nickel at some point? There's a lot of intrigue there for me on that side of the ball in particular, but probably, like you said, the cornerback position and then defensive tackle or interior defensive line, a lot of intrigue.
Who are your what's your two deep at the linebacker spots?
Oh, that's set for me. Austin Keys at the mic, and then obviously Asante at the wheel, and then behind both those two, Dorian Mausi. I think he's probably your third. I mean, your guy off the bench that rotates at both. Even though I'll be interested to see, Cole put a very interesting note on the board, and Cole, I won't spoil it. I'll let you get to it, but that definitely caught my attention for sure.
That was what I was getting to.
Yeah, I think DeMarcus Riddick is your next guy at the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is.
Do you got true freshman?
I think Robert Woodyard's in there too, and we've heard Josh Aldridge say he wants 4 to 5 guys to play, and he's not doing it anymore. But that's the, they like 4 to 5, the linebacker coaches. Now A&M didn't do that last year with Durkin in control of it. So does somebody get left out? I think if somebody gets left out right now of the 5, I would say it would be Woodyard. I think DeMarcus Riddick is ahead of him.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
I don't know if this counts as a position battle, but the slot receiver, I'm curious to see if there's anybody that would make them want to take Rivaldo Fairweather off the field.
I'm with you. That's huge to me because when you start
say that again.
All right, so as of right now, I expect
I see what you're
Rivaldo
saying.
Fairweather to be in the slot when they go into base offense. Is there anybody that can make them feel better about taking Rivaldo off the field and put an actual slot in there?
Yeah.
Robert Lewis.
That's what I was going to say. Does Robert Lewis elevate himself to the point that you can't not put him in the game and play 11 personnel, right?
Right.
Or do you continue to play to base out of 12 and try to utilize Rivaldo as a mismatch issue on the inside? That's going to be really, really interesting. And then I tell you, I'll go you one further. What happens if one of the outside wide receivers we brought in is not what we think he's going to be, and Rivaldo has to be featured on the outside? What does that do? And that's a what if, because I don't think that's going to be an issue. I honestly don't.
Anthony always gets us talking, man. Appreciate you, big dog.
2736. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Yes, my name is Wells from Gordo, Alabama.
From where, Alabama?
Gordo, Alabama.
Oh, Gordo. Okay.
Pickens County.
Yes, sir. And my question for y'all, and maybe it's a little bit of recency bias, but it seems like the state of Alabama has been putting out a lot of great high school kids, no matter whether they're going to Auburn or Alabama.
Sure.
What would be the best class that the state of Alabama that you think has ever produced? Thank you.
Ooh, you know what? Okay, here's one. The Mark Barron class was really good. Is that affirming that? That's the only one that really comes to mind. That was really deep class. Alabama. That was the first when Saban really took over.
Mm-hmm.
All those cats from was it St. Paul's?
Yeah. So he signed him from St. Paul's. I'm trying to think of who all was a part of that group. Now, obviously, AJ.
I tell you,
McKinnon.
another class
Yeah.
was Jarrell Harris and Drake Kirkpatrick. Or if they were in the same class, I can't remember.
Two different classes, because Jarrell Harris was like Will Muschamp's guy. Do you remember?
Yes.
And then when Will went to Texas, Jarrell ended up committing to Alabama, and it was kind of like the flag to me that tied in the state. You know what I mean? That the things in state had turned. And then the next class was Drake Kirkpatrick out of Gaston City.
I tell you what, I wonder if we look back 4 or 5 years from now and say the 2024 in-state class, 2025 in-state class isn't at least in the discussion.
You know, I'm looking through some of these classes right now as we're talking, and I don't see a class as complete as like the 24 class we just saw.
At least
I see a lot of good names. I see a lot of good names. Like the top 15, though, is it as complete? I mean, we don't know for sure yet with that class, obviously, but I don't know. That's going to be interesting.
Do you think just look at Auburn's in-state hall from last year, the 2024 class. Just look at Cam Coleman, Perry Thompson, DeMarcus Riddick, D'Angelo Barber, Malcolm Simmons, Bryce Kane.
Yeah.
I mean, that's on paper, that's a stud in-state class, and that's
agreed.
And who did Bama get? Ryan Williams.
Yeah.
So,
man,
who else did Alabama get in state, Cole? If you're looking at that,
I am. The 2008 class, I think, is the one you were referring to, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
The number one player in the state of Alabama was Julio.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You have to, at least by ours. Then you had Jarrell Harris at number 5. Courtney
Shit, who was
Upshaw
that?
was number
Yeah.
7. Mark Barron, number 8.
Yeah.
And then a lot of guys I've never heard of.
Well, I'm looking at the rankings for 08. The Destin Hood kid out of St. Paul's was supposed to be really good, but he got hurt. Ended up going to play baseball.
Baseball.
and made
I was gonna say.
MLB.
Oh wow, yeah.
And I have a friend that's from the Mobile area that swears that Dustin Hill was one of the best football players he'd ever seen in his entire life.
Yeah.
Said if
I'm with you because I played youth league football at St. Paul's. And when they hosted the high school camp for all the youth league players, there were people fighting to be in Destin Hood's line to be camp leader before Mark Barron and some of those AJ McCarron and some of those other players that were there.
All right, so I'm going to read you down the top 10 from last year's class, Jeffrey.
Oh wow, I'm looking at it too. Go ahead.
So Cam Coleman, obviously Auburn, Ryan Williams, Alabama, Jordan Ross, who none of the in-state schools wanted, if we're being honest here, Jalen Mbakwe, Alabama, then Perry Thompson, Auburn, DeMarcus Riddick, Auburn, Jeremiah Beeman, Alabama, and then Joe Phillips, Auburn.
Kevin Riley, Bryce Kane, Malcolm Simmons.
Yes.
And by the way,
Sterling Dixon.
we
That's strong.
we
It is,
we
isn't it?
do know this is an Auburn show, but if we're going to go back and look at the state of Alabama, Alabama's owned it.
Sure.
I am seeing that even more so by going back through these classes. They've owned it.
Especially since Saban took over. Was that 07?
Yeah. And so to me, for Auburn to get back to where they are right now, where you're splitting and or taking more inside the top 15 than Alabama, that is a quantum leap from where you were from an in-state recruiting standpoint. And in today's age of the transfer portal, I do think that in-state recruiting matters because kids are so quick to jump into the portal. If you're already close to home, maybe that patience gives you, you just have a little bit more of a window there for a kid to be a little bit more patient with you, right? As opposed to immediately like, no, I'm out. Playing time's not there. I'm not close to home. I took the bag, but now I want to do something a little bit different, right? So I do think that in-state recruiting has always been important, but now I think it's even more so. And I'm not saying that the players that Auburn's taking are better than the players that Alabama's taking. I'm not getting into all that. To me, that doesn't matter. It's always been more important the kids that you land, can they play in the SEC and can they help you win championships? I don't give a damn what anybody else lands. Okay. But I do think that in-state is important from that, being able to retain what you have. That is where it's important to me, is the retention factor of that.
Good stuff, Wells. Get us talking, man. I tell you what, mark me down for a fan of that 2024 class. I bet you in 5 years we're talking about that still. That was strong.
Big time strong.
I believe we have Edward here. Edward, you're live.
What's going on, fellas?
What's up, big dog?
What's up, Edward?
Yeah, I got my old man Alvin Henderson, man. That was my guy that I wanted in my class. I'm glad I got it.
Yep.
I know you are, big dog. I had a DM from you just the second that it came across. He's like, see, I told you. And I was like, yep, you did, Edward. You called it.
See, because this class, it got some good players, but it was missing something. You missing that, what Damari Austin was for his class, what Walker White was for his class. And I listened to his interview that he did with the 247 guys, and he said Hugh gave him a list of guys that he wants. So that let me know that he was thinking the same way that I'm thinking. That, hey, this your guy right here, as far as the recruits that gonna be able to get some kids to follow him. He love Alvin Henderson. I can tell you that they love Alvin Henderson, man. You know, a lot of guys love Alvin Henderson.
He's popular.
Yeah, and he is. He's the. I think leading up to this, we were like, oh, we don't really know who's going to be the rah-rah, the cheerleader of this class.
And
Certainly,
it's nothing against Ryan G. He's pretty good at that. His parents are big on it. They like to be around when there's big recruits there. But Alvin Henderson's been a household name in the state of Alabama for 3 recruiting cycles now.
got a little bit more clout to his name.
Well, and
especially in state.
especially in state. But you think of this is a kid that's been on the camp circuit for a while now, right? Like he's got relationships with a lot of different kids. And I think that's what Edward's alluding to.
Yeah.
A kid that's been to every campus, right? So he was committed to Penn State. He's visited Miami, Florida State, Georgia, Alabama. So when he has a recruit in front of him that's asking him what's special about Auburn, he can talk about these other places because he's been there. He's done that.
Right.
So there's a level of conviction that he can speak with. And then you talk about the popularity aspect of it that just it's probably going to mean a little bit more. And Ryan G, to his credit, will be effective with his group too. Like I think there is a target audience for Ryan where he's going to be able to kind of have some say so where it might carry a little bit more weight. But
he's going to have more impact on Hollis Davidson than Alvin Henderson will.
Yes, 100%. Definitely. And maybe some kids from that Atlanta area, maybe some kids from Milton, right?
Sure.
Yep.
Sure.
And you go back to Anthony's question that he asked y'all. I think that defensive line, I'm going to be honest, I don't think it's but one position pretty locked down on the defensive line, and that's Jalen McLeod. I think all the other spots up for grabs.
I agree with you.
Even on Mr. Falk's side. Not to say that he won't start out the starter. But I believe Amari Williams going to really come on and put some pressure on the opposite side for somebody. And you got Rakes, you got Jones on the inside. Then who's your starting three technique? If you go in the secondary, like you say, who's your starting safety? Because I'm like Cole. I love myself some Sylvester Smith. You got a young guy like a Terrence Love. You got the guy from Texas. I mean, there's a lot of options on the back end. And then, like you say, well, we talk about Cam Coleman, but who's going to fight for the position behind a guy like a Cam Coleman? Because Cam can't be on the field the whole game. So those positions to me is more is crucial, those backup spots behind a guy like Cam to be able to have a guy in the game not named Cam Coleman, but I can still pass the ball. So that's something that I'm looking at. And, you know, the passing game, it has got so much, you know, credit, and boy, we're so excited about it. But let's not forget, we can run the hell out of football. And we did that without a threat of a passing game last year.
Sure.
Man, we still got one of the better backfields in the SEC.
I don't disagree with you.
I'm just excited about – yeah, go ahead, man.
No. I was going to say I'm not going to disagree with you. And look, let's be honest here about Auburn and its DNA. When you think about Auburn, what do you think about? Hard-nosed, tough-ass defense and running the football, right? Like, isn't that what you think about as an Auburn fan? Hugh Freeze is going to bring a different element to it, but at its core, I think Auburn fans identify with that, Edward, and having Alvin Henderson be a part of that group moving forward is a huge piece for us. But go back. I want to hear some of these words of wisdom from Edward. You always get us straight before you get off the phone.
I'm just looking at my schedule, and boy, I'm teetering right there on 9 wins. But I think we beat somebody that nobody's expecting us to beat. Ooh. I really do. But here's the thing that scares me. And I hate that. I don't want to come across as being negative, but it is what it is. Pretty much his whole coaching career, that's what he's known for, beating somebody that ain't nobody really expected him to beat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he did Liberty, beat Arkansas. You know, he beat Alabama at Ole Miss. But here's on the other hand, also been known to lose to a team that, you know, he wasn't expected to lose to.
Right. So
I look at my schedule, and there's a game in there right now I don't feel good about. And that's a trip to Lexington, Kentucky. I think we could possibly go to Missouri and beat Missouri. For some reason, that Kentucky game, I don't like it. Because we've been known to go into games like that and lay a complete egg. Even our national championship year, you remember we badly skated by Kentucky. So that's a game on the road that I don't have a warm, fuzzy feeling about it.
I agree.
No, I'm with you. I was looking at the schedule the other day, and actually I was going to suggest this as our question for us to – I love the personal question, but I thought, what is the one most pivotal game on Auburn's schedule? Like, if you've got to win one, what's the one game that you think that Auburn needs to win that is going to be kind of the swing that's going to be the definition of this is either going to be 9 wins or this is going to be 6? What do you think it's going to be?
Oklahoma.
You got it. I'm with you, Jeffrey. It's Oklahoma.
That's not my answer.
Go. Is it A&M for you?
I think it's Alabama, man.
Whew.
I think it's Alabama. I know it's on the road, but here's why. Nick Saban is no longer in Tuscaloosa. You got the boy coming into Tuscaloosa. He was trying to put his stake in the ground as far as recruiting. If you want to do that, you get your team ready, which I have no doubt that he's going to have that Auburn team ready to go to Tuscaloosa and play ball.
Yep.
You go to Tuscaloosa and get that win. To me, I don't think it's just a team that's just that. The talent gap has been closed. We might be a little younger. The talent gap has been closed. Can we execute on the road? I think that's a game. Damn near you can't let the boy come in and get ahead of him. I don't think he can, because if you come in and you get behind him, that's not where you want to be. Because you selling recruits on the fact that Auburn could be a championship contender. It's got to come to a point to where you got to beat some of the big dogs. You want to be a big dog, you got to beat a big dog. And you got to be able to beat teams on the road. We can't wait till every 2 years when we catch teams at home and then think we got a team. Nope. You got to go in and get that game. And I'm taking all bets right now. Everybody is affiliated with Alabama. Come see it. I want your money because I'm betting on my Tigers. I ain't got to let the show go on, man.
Get them fired up in the chat tonight, Edward.
Cole, what was your pick?
California.
Cal game. See, I was looking at the first half of the schedule. I think both of those games are big in getting over that 7.5 win total.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to take you back to a year ago. What if Auburn drops that game at Cal?
Should have.
Oh,
right.
For sure.
And you know what? Got beat up on the board for saying that was going to be a dogfight. I don't care. I say it might be again. Get ready. I'm sorry if you don't like hearing that. That's the truth. Because it's a sneaky game. Edward just said it. Hugh Freeze's legacy. He's had times where he's dropped a game he shouldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
And Auburn's still not where it needs to be yet, in my opinion, roster-wise. You're getting closer, but you're not there. But it's a tone setter. That's the why. You win that game like you're supposed to, 2 to 3 touchdowns, and you've got a great tone set going into your SEC schedule after that.
Yeah, and I think, Cole, last year you were spot on with that. This year I think they know, like, we can't overlook Cal, right? I think they know at this point, right? Like, because they almost got embarrassed last year.
I don't think they overlooked them a year ago. I think they were in bad shape.
That team did not deserve to win a football game.
No.
They hadn't figured things out yet, and they really didn't figure things out most of the season. When you go back and you watch the Georgia and Alabama games, there was a very clear offensive game plan. And it was, we're not worried about passing today. We're going to try to win this game on the ground.
Right.
They didn't have that in the Cal game. They didn't have that mentality. And what I wonder, and what I worry about with that Cal game is, what is going to be their mentality then? What will they have figured out by then? Because Cal's got a pretty good coach.
Oh, no doubt about it. Specifically on the defensive side of the football, right?
Right. And I don't trust, the way things are now. Anybody can drop a game at any time. That's just the way the mentality seems to be. It's hard to get everybody motivated, especially with the transfer portal. You got hired mercenaries, as people call it. I told you I was feeling a little edgy tonight. It's true. It's true. It's hard to gauge. It's just not smart to bet on it anymore. You never know what these guys are thinking. You never know where their mental mindset is going into a game. And everything that plays into that game gives me some worry for Auburn.
Edward always bringing the pain. Hey, we've got some more callers on the line, but before we do, remember if you're in or around Auburn, Opelika, Lee County, looking for some help, looking for a new house, looking to get rid of the house you are in currently, maybe want to upgrade, move on up a little bit in the world, maybe want to buy an investment property, rent it out, maybe get a flip going. Look no further for the help you need, folks. Jessica Andrews with the Talents Group. Give her a call, 334-704-4442. A lot of fours in that number, but she is a 5-star realtor. If you don't believe me, just ask me. I'll tell you. She's a 5-star realtor. Seriously, she's really good, man. All those things she does on the reg. She's fantastic. Flips, rental, find you an investment property, upgrade your home, get you in the right neighborhood, whatever you want to do, man. She is fantastic. Give her a call, 334-704-4442. Tell her we sent you. All right, get us back to the phone line, Zach.
Like the Jeffersons, moving on up, baby.
9106. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Hello.
Hello. Lee County Fire Department.
What's going on, buddy?
This is Noah from Niceville, Florida.
Noah from
Noah from
Niceville.
Another Niceville caller.
Yeah. Some Niceville fans in the house.
We got to get Darren back in.
What is on your mind tonight, Mr. Noah?
Juju's coming back from Colorado tonight, correct?
If he isn't already, yes.
So
If he's not back.
I have a weird feeling that he might go to Colorado because of everybody like Shador leaving and all that. What is our real chance of getting him?
Pretty good.
Auburn's real chance of getting him?
Yeah, Auburn's real chance of getting him.
I got it 50-50 Auburn against the field right now.
That's where I have it too. I think, don't I?
I think you got it at 55, big dog.
I thought I dropped it.
Okay, you may have.
I was at 35, I was at 45, then I moved to 55. Now I'm back down to 45 is where I'm at today. I think Auburn loses to
And
the field.
Caleb Cunningham, he goes to every school and says, they're my number one. What do we really – can we really trust him at this point, what he's going to say at this point until he signs the paper?
Well, Noah, every single recruit is different when they do interviews.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb Cunningham is impressionable. When he goes places, he has a great time, and he's going to say that. He's going to portray it in words that he had a great time and that school's made a move for him. And he's telling the truth. But it's really difficult these days to follow what these kids say. It's hard. If we followed only what they say, we would be lost.
Well, here's the deal with Caleb Cunningham. He visited Auburn. Auburn was number one. He visited Florida. Florida was number one with Auburn. He visited Alabama. Now they're number one. Talk about and the thing I think, well, before that, when he named Auburn as leader, I know some of the outside media was like, he says that about every school. And I was like, no, he doesn't. He hadn't up until that point named a leader.
Correct. That's correct.
So the first time he named a leader was Auburn. Then he went to Florida and said they're 1B, Auburn's 1A, 1B, or something like that. They're tied with the top with Auburn.
Sure.
And now he's gone to Alabama and named Alabama the leader. The thing I think the common denominator there, I think those might be the three schools. Even though Ole Miss, it's been mentioned, Mississippi State was the presumed early favorite for him. I feel like those three schools that he's named leader at one point or another. The good thing about Caleb Cunningham to me is he's not announcing Tuesday.
No.
Right. And he said, I think maybe July, but I don't know if he'll even do that. I still think he comes back to Auburn for Big Cat. I know what he said, but I still expect him to be at Big Cat on July the 27th. Now, will he have made a commitment? And if so, would it be to Auburn? And if not, then will he come? No way of knowing. But I know as of this weekend, I still expect him to be at Big Cat July 27th.
Right. And look, I know he's told, or it's been reported by Ole Miss that he's going to attend Juice Fest. And I'm sure that Alabama is under the impression now that he might attend their, Champions Cookout or whatever they call, their July event. Everybody has one of these last weekend in July events. So to me, right now, he's telling every reporter like, yeah, I'm coming this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Because he's so caught in the moment, he's not even realized what weekend he's talking about at this point. I don't think. I don't even think he's cognizant of it. So now that these staffs are going to give him just a little bit of air, because they will give him a little bit of air, he'll go home. They'll probably have about a week to decompress, and then the push to who's going to get him on campus for that day will start. And you'll know probably about a week out what he's leaning towards doing, and then you'll probably see him on somebody. Hell, you'll probably see him on about 2 different lists, and then he'll show up at one spot if I had to guess.
Yeah.
And for the record, if he says Alabama's his leader right now, I believe him.
Me too.
Yes.
I believe that Alabama is his leader. I believed him when he said Auburn was.
Me too.
But at the same time, we've sat here and said we're not putting in prediction for him.
No.
That's not how this guy rolls. I'm not saying he lives in the moment, but he takes in these visits and he's very excited when he leaves them, and he's impressionable, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Here's the thing that scares me if I'm an Auburn fan about Alabama is Keelan Russell.
Yes.
Okay. Auburn doesn't have a quarterback.
Point, it's going to bite you not having a quarterback, which is why, and the question was asked 100 times in the last week, how much time is Auburn going to give Julian Lewis? How long are they going to wait
going
for
into
him?
the fall?
I don't think they will. I think they will
either.
I think they will cut bait and go, we got to make a move with somebody.
Man,
And
I completely agree.
Let's be honest here. I guarantee you SC and Colorado are telling him the exact same thing. You know what I mean? It's not like it's going to be only Auburn. I think their family probably understands the dynamic as well.
Yeah.
So I would expect a decision to be made back end of July, probably an announcement front end of August, something like that.
No later than mid-August. I really believe that. At least from Auburn's perspective, they've got to get this going, because if I'm a 5-star wide receiver, Walker White doesn't really move the needle for me. I want to know who's coming in. And if you've got the Elite 11 champion committed, and you've got a coach with a resume of throwing it around and winning,
yes,
I was not surprised at all. I think Auburn needs to make a move at quarterback. They need to get him back on campus at the end of July and just continue building what they already have. You got to remember now, Auburn not only has Marcus Davis, they have Derek Nix as well. Both of these guys have been recruiting this kid for years. So just chill out when it comes to that. I think that's a bridge you cross when you get upon it.
No, I'm with you, but I agree with you wholeheartedly, Jeffrey. Quarterback makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
A significant difference, and it's a quarterback in this class. Yes, Walker White. When the kid gets to campus, Walker White makes a difference. But in this class, who's my 4 or 5-star signal caller that I'm going to be able to lean on? And I tell you what, why else it's important? Because if KJ Lacey is the pivot, how long can you go without making that kid feel like, hey, man, you're second fiddle, dude?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that kids get into their feels, and that plays into it sometimes, right? Like, let's not pretend that it doesn't.
Sure.
Good stuff, Noah. Appreciate you, big dog.
1028. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from? One 1028. You're live.
Yes, this is Aaron from Fort Payne. Some people call me Aaron from Fort Payne, Alabama.
Hey, Aaron.
Fort Payne.
Yes, sir.
June Jam. I missed it.
Alabama coming off the mountain.
I have just 2 questions tonight.
All right.
Who do y'all think is going to be? Yes, sir. Who do y'all think is going to be the biggest flip for Auburn right now?
That's not committed or that is committed? I mean, like flipping away from Auburn or flipping to Auburn?
Flipping to Auburn.
Okay.
Like, who's our biggest target right now?
Okay. And what's your second question, Aaron? Hey, Aaron.
Aaron, don't listen to TV, man. Listen to the phone.
Oh, yes, sir. This is my first time doing this. So
You're
That's
good,
all right.
brother.
You're good, man.
What's your second question?
my second question is going to be, as far as who is going to be committed from now until the end of July, what prospects do you think we can watch, and do you think Herbert Scroggins III is going to be a part of this?
Great question.
Okay. All right. Hey, Ron, appreciate you, big dog. Don't be a stranger, man. Call back next week.
Yeah, good stuff.
Let's see.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you, big dog. Biggest flip target for Auburn. Well, everybody understands Julian Lewis. All right.
Yes.
Let's move on past him. Who's number 2 and 3 for you? How about that?
Tell you what,
Derek Smith for me.
Derek Smith would be in there.
Caleb Cunningham starts trending away from you. Who's the receiver you're going to get?
Yeah. Derek Smith is a massive flip target for me. A, because he can contribute on both sides of the football, right? 2, it's another one of those in-state kids, and you're talking about perception. That's a big one.
Flip target, name offer's got to be in there. He's probably up there with Julian, but I think as far as who's the biggest flip target you feel Auburn has a pretty damn good shot with right now? Like Antonio Coleman, Derek Smith, Julian Lewis, KJ Lacey,
Daryl Johnson, Elijah Melendez.
Duke. Sure, absolutely.
Melendez is huge, man. I think that kid's just highly underrated. I really do. I mean, you're talking about the quarterback of your defense. You land that one.
Yeah, I love him.
Do we say Nate Marshall?
Would you
Nate Marshall? Absolutely.
Would you guys include guys who may have just recently decommitted?
Sure.
Like Isaiah Gibson?
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know.
I wouldn't call it a flip.
No, I don't know what Auburn's chances are there, is what I was saying. I don't.
No, I'm with you, dude. I think that kid's headed to Georgia, but that's neither here nor there.
And the second part of Aaron's question was, who do you think will be in this class at the end of July? Let's say Anquan Fagans is July 29th.
Yes.
He's in. We think I still think Third's in this class. I think Jacoby Ward's in this class. Where do you have Zion Grady? I've seen July the 10th for him. Is that still on?
So I don't know. I think he's kind of toyed with that date, and we'll see. Maybe
I hadn't heard anything concrete on that. That's why I saw somebody post about it on the corner, and I was like, what?
I think he'd floated that date to a different recruiting service. I believe it was 24/7 who reported that maybe July 10th would be the date that he would do his commitment ceremony, but I don't think anything's been set in stone. I haven't seen any national reporter release that. And typically speaking, there's a Hayes Fawcett graphic or there's a national reporter that has a story. And then we kind of build out from there. So it'll be interesting to see on him. Blake Woodby is one I've got my eye on that I think will have a commitment before Big Cat. I'm with you on Third Scroggins. And yes, he shifted his date. I still feel okay there.
Yeah. I tell you what, a position I'm going to be keeping a close eye on now that Alvin Henderson is committing is that second spot at running back.
Yes. What's Usman Chroma's timeline? Because I think he said fall, right?
Yeah, he was going to watch some games and get in. Does DeJuan Morris want to flip? Hey, he's definitely a flip target. Aaron, DeJuan Morris
and Nathaniel Marshall too. I forgot about him.
Yeah. So, let's see. All right. So, guys that we think we're going to be in on this.
Ooh, Jeffrey, let me ask you a question real quick.
Okay.
If you're Auburn, do you slow play Dwayne Morris at all if he wants in?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't slow play him. I keep recruiting him as I always have. I'm just not going, hey, man, we've only got one more spot in this class. I'm not pushing him.
Right, because there's two ways to play that, right? And that's what I was getting to, because I think that's very important for us to get out to the audience, that I think what you're saying is how it's going to go down.
Yes, I think I'm just as heavily on him, almost like Kalen Edwards. I'm recruiting the shit out of him. I'm just not saying, hey, dude,
what time is it?
We need to go ahead and get you in, or we can't guarantee you a spot. So I think that'll be, and I wrote that about, ideally Auburn wants Usman Chroma or Shakai Mills-Knight to pair with Alvin Henderson. But if DeJuan Morris comes up and says, hey, man, let me get in there.
Yeah, you don't turn any of those backs away.
You say, come on, big dog.
I think so, too.
You might go to Usman and go, hey, you want in or not? You might go to Shakai Mills-Knight and say, you want in or not? Because if you do, you got to get it right now.
Right.
you're in right now or you're out. Because I've got, and those guys are typically, somebody asked me about this. I don't see either of those three guys being the third running back in a class.
I'm with you. Even though DeJuan Morris is extremely versatile, and I think you could use him in a lot of different ways, kids still want to know they're going to be featured, right? Mm-hmm. And when you start bringing in three running backs in a class, that's tough.
I will say that I think the reason we think they have them in categories with DeJuan Morris, Alvin Henderson being on the smaller side, which Alvin's not that small, by the way, and Usman and Shakai Mills-Knight being the bigger backs. It's just really difficult to find a big back with skills. That's harder to find. I don't want to say that a smaller back with skills is one. You can find a bunch of them, but they're more prevalent. You want to get a bigger back with skills. They're just not out there walking around. There's not many of them,
especially in this class.
Right.
Let's see. Hey, Aaron, appreciate you, big dog. Tell the folks over in Ider. I said, how about you?
Ider.
Heck yeah, Ider.
I know Ider.
I've been up at Ider, man. I had my best friend was from his family was from Ider.
I went up to Midtown not too long ago.
Kevin. What was Kevin's last name? I don't know. I'll think about it.
1894. You're live. Who we talking to? Where you calling from?
Me. All right, fellas. How we doing?
I don't know. You
What's
tell
up?
Me. All right. I'm Xander from Niceville. I don't
Great
know
day in the morning.
I don't know Darren, which is crazy, but I'm also from Niceville, Florida.
Did you say you do know Noah?
Hey, question for you. So, if Julian Lewis splits to us, where does that move us up in the recruiting rankings? And then if he flips to us, does that bring any surprise commitments with him aside from obviously Caleb Cunningham? So I appreciate y'all's show. Thank you guys. And
hey Xander, before you go, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Do you spell your name with an X or a Z?
With a Z.
All right, cool, big dog. You can call back.
You got it. See ya.
All right, big dog. Dude, Niceville. We're going to have to go down to Niceville
Hey,
and
look,
set up.
Apparently, Darren's on the line, too.
Wow.
There it is.
Yeah.
Great,
hey, how about you, dude? That's 4 callers from Niceville tonight?
1, 2, 3. That'll be 3.
3, I'm sorry.
Darren will be 3.
You know I can't add.
Okay, Juju flips to Auburn. Auburn is at number 7 in the On3 rankings right now. I think that puts them squarely in the top 5.
Yes.
So, yeah, for sure.
On3 calculators coming. I'm pushing for that. Great day in the morning. And then I think he said, who else? If Auburn were to get Juju Lewis, who am I considering going? Hey, maybe he needs a bump on the hot board now. I think it affects mostly wide receivers.
Yes.
Maybe a tight end. Does that help Hollis Davidson?
I think it does, especially being from that Atlanta area. Maybe even it helps you with Amari Winston. Not exactly sure.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
I haven't heard that name as much recently, but I know he's somebody that they're very interested in. Maybe it helps you with.
I think they want to know about Hollis before they move on.
I would think so too.
Hollis Davidson,
as they should. I think that kid's extremely talented and underrated too. Maybe like an Ethan Barbour, maybe a kid like that from that same area that helps you there. And then Usman Chroma. I think that's
a good one.
That's
I was thinking that.
You know what I mean?
That's a great one.
So those are the ones to me that kind of jump off the page that Auburn's in on now that I think would probably help you. And then again, Derek Smith absolutely helps you. You've already added Alvin Henderson, who's a running back in that class. You bring in your quarterback now. Hey, you've got somebody that can feed you the football. Okay. So
it does not hurt anybody. That's for sure.
No, absolutely
It's
not.
harder to say that it would absolutely boost you with a certain guy. It's hard to say that, but what it does is it gets you in the game with a lot of guys. It's kind of like Auburn having the big facility. Like, that's not going to be the reason that a recruit picks to go to Auburn, but it could be a reason they don't go to Auburn.
I think so. And I'm going to say this too. I know that everybody wants to talk about Juju and the kids that he's going to bring with him. If KJ Lacey commits, I think there are kids that want to play with KJ Lacey, period.
I agree.
I think there are some extremely talented kids that want to play with KJ Lacey.
He's a winner.
Yeah. He's a winner. He's a gamer. He's a great kid. So I think both of them have parts of their game that are attractive to other players, and that they'll be able to have people kind of gravitate towards them once they join a class, if those are the one of the two quarterbacks that you end up with.
Good stuff. Xander with a Z.
We have Carter on the line now. Carter, you're live.
Is it the Bammer lover?
Sure is.
Gentlemen, it's the damn Bammer lover.
What's up, Carter?
Hey guys, I got two questions for y'all, and one of them y'all can save for the recruiting show. It's kind of similar to the one that we had last week, where y'all did the top 15 guys in the state of Alabama. I was just going through the state of Georgia where I live, and I wanted to see where y'all think these guys end up, gut feeling, gut call, come signing day. Not right now, just down the line, and I'll go through them. Juju, Shamar No, Third Scroggins, Jacoby Ward. I feel like we know where those two are going to go. Hollis Davidson, Amari Winston, and a bonus is if we get Juju, do we get CJ Wiley?
Ooh, okay. I think we can do that now.
And the second question I've got is who will have a more impactful freshman season, Jamonta Waller or Joe Phillips?
Huh. All right. Well, if you can go through them, say them again, Carter. Reel those off. We'll just go by one real quick.
All right. Juju, Jamar No, Herbert Scroggins, Jacoby Ward, Hollis Davidson, Amari Winston, and the added bonus is CJ Wiley if Juju commits to that.
I put him in the private chat there, Jeffrey, for you.
Yeah, he did. I was
So how many of them do we think end up at Auburn?
Just make a signing day call on these guys.
okay. Signing day, I'm going with Juju to SC.
Colorado for me.
I made a post on the board and I got a lot of traction with that, with people thinking that I was making that up. No, I think that's a legitimate concern.
No, you got to take some bullets sometimes, Alan, to be right.
I'm telling you. But I'm going to go Juju SC, Arnaud FSU, third with Auburn, Ward with Auburn, Hollis Davidson with Auburn, Winston with Texas, CJ Wiley with Georgia.
I think we're exactly the same.
I wouldn't argue any of those. Curious to see what Arnaud says after Florida State. He went there this weekend, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm leaning Florida State with him right now.
Yeah, I'm leaning just away from Auburn with Arnaud. I don't know if he's just a full-on take at the moment. Hollis Davidson, I think that
he's a tier 1 guy. Arnaud's a tier 1 guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I just don't know what to do with Juju. I'm not there yet. I'm still at 50, dude. I'm holding strong at 50 with him.
I'm with you. There's something about it I can't get.
I hear you, man. I hear
get
you.
To 55, and
here's the thing. I've got him at 50. I just can't get to calling him to Auburn. I just can't. Not even in this, not even in this setting. I can't.
No.
So right now, I would say
I don't feel great about calling him anywhere, but I feel better about calling him in Colorado than Auburn.
I would too right now.
I think that's fair.
I feel better about saying not Auburn than I do Auburn.
I mean, Alan, you said it before the official visit. It's really not just the visit high either. That's not it.
It's not. I mean, I know me and you have heard similar things, Cole, as far as that's concerned. And, I think the pitch, there's just a lot that goes into it with Juju, and there's a lot there, man. And maybe ultimately I'll be wrong and it will be Auburn. I'm not feeling that today.
I'm curious to see how we feel in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's going to be big.
Mm-hmm. Let's see where. So second part of Carter's, Jamonta Waller, Big Dog Waller, or Joe Phillips, who has a more successful true freshman year, assuming they don't redshirt.
I'll go layered on this. I think Jamonta Waller is going to be the more successful freshman season. I think Joe Phillips is going to have the more successful career.
Okay, Cole.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Well, I don't know. I can't.
Do you think Waller could redshirt this year?
I think they both will, personally.
I kind of do too.
I think when you got Kieran Crawford, when you got him, it probably hurt Waller a little bit on playing time. I still think there's a package for Waller if they want to get into that kind of stuff, just for a freshman year. I don't know if there's a package for Joe Phillips right now.
I don't either, Cole.
Special teams might keep them off the redshirt list.
I doubt they would. If they're just special teams, would they do it more than 4 games?
Do you think you're going to get these guys for 4 years?
I ain't betting on anybody staying anywhere for 4 years. You can forget
That's a good
that.
point. So that's why I was leaning towards using them immediately. So that your retention pitch is a lot stronger after year 1.
And so the reason I've got probably Waller having the better freshman year is I'm kind of, if you have an injury, I think he's the one that's going to play out of the two. I think he's more advanced as a pass rusher right now and probably more prepared to take the field day 1. I love Joe's frame. I love his ability long-term. I think he's raw in areas that Jamonte's more developed. And that as time goes on, I think Joe Phillips is going to 100% surpass him, man. I just do. I think he's one of those kind of kids that's going to be Marcus Washington one day. You're going to see him with double-digit sacks and be a second-round pick in the NFL. That's just the way I see Joe Phillips.
Good stuff, Carter. Appreciate you, big dog.
5202. You're live. Who we talking to? Where you calling from?
How about you, fellas? It's Darren down here in Niceville, and Allen Head. That is Coffee County mathematics.
I hear you, baby. I hear you.
It's multiplied.
That's right. That's right. I didn't have my fingers in front of me, Darren.
We had the same thing in Enterprise.
Oh yeah, he's from Enterprise. Isn't he?
He is.
What's on your mind?
I want to say that I was all in your boat. Oklahoma was the game.
Yes.
And then Cole Pinkston came over the top and came off the top rope with that elbow. You know what I'm talking about? The elbow?
The people's elbow.
The people's elbow, baby.
The people's elbow. Thank you, sir. California, if we don't show up at California and to go into that Oklahoma game right, I think Cole's right. I think that's going to be
you got to get past California
for
that Oklahoma game to mean what I think it's going to mean. You've got to first take care of California.
True.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to go over to something, Cole. By the way, Wednesday show, Xander, yes, you get to my age and still be crazy doing the things that I do. You can be crazy as sprayed roach. You've earned that card to do what I do, just to tell you. Glad to see these folks calling in. I do see a lot of Auburn in Niceville, folks. I'm from Enterprise, but I do see a lot of tags down here. And Auburn's had some success. Niceville, Crestview, this area in recent years with wide receivers and so forth. So proud to see it. Cole, you mentioned a while ago Alabama's a tall task to Edward, and that we were getting better on our roster, but we wasn't quite there yet. So let me ask you this: they needed 4th and 31 to beat a Brian Harsin basic team just about last year. Who's upgraded more, Alabama this year or Auburn this year? Because I know who's got the heart. I know who's in these games every time. And that's Auburn. So for me, Cole, just a question. It sounded like you didn't have. I get it. Alabama's got depth. They got depth upon depth. I don't think there's deep this year with all the transfer outs that they were in the past. And Saban's not there. I do believe our roster is upgraded, but I agree with you. We're just not there yet as far as, hey, we could throw another 5-star in when a 5-star goes out, right? But do you feel that they're just that much better than us still? Or do the rosters – I feel – this is Darren's opinion – I feel our roster is better, much better than last year comparatively to them, which is probably even killed, but I could be totally wrong. And that's all I got, guys. And listen, enjoyed Wednesday, enjoy the show. Thank y'all so much, and I hope y'all have a great week.
Appreciate you, Darren, the mayor of Niceville.
I like it, man. I like it.
Yeah, that's a good call. Good question. I am with you, Darren. It would be hypocritical for me to say that game was a fluke, because I have fought for it not to be. I don't think it is a fluke, the Alabama game and the Georgia game. I think what I saw was very, excellent game plans in those two games on offense in the running game. I saw excellent game plans as far as coaching decisions when it comes to, do we want to bleed clock here? Do we want to move things a little bit faster? I thought it was just Auburn coaches, the Auburn coaching staff, the Auburn players handled those 2 games about as well as you could ask. I don't think Alabama and Georgia played their best games those days, but I want to give credit where it's due, and I think Auburn deserves some credit on those games. The roster is not to the level of Georgia and Alabama. In a perfect world, can you go and beat Georgia and Alabama with the roster you have? Sure. The problem is we don't live in a perfect world. What if a guy like Keontae Scott goes down? Then what? You're in trouble.
Yeah.
There's areas on the team where if you lose somebody and there's going to be injuries, you are in trouble. You are now much weaker against a team like Alabama, against a team like Georgia. And that's what I'm worried about. You don't have that layered depth right now. You have pretty good players in the starting spots almost everywhere now. I think that's the biggest upgrade that's been made. But layered depth, hey, this guy went down. Like you said, can we replace him with another 5-star? Doesn't even have to be a 5-star. Just replace him with somebody that can keep you in the game. I don't know if I can answer that question yet. I don't know if Auburn's got that yet.
No, I think that's fair, Cole. And to Darren's point, I don't know that Alabama does either. That's the difference in this team. I think their top-end talent is still better. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I do think there are certain spots, particularly with them in the secondary, where if they have some injuries, they're going to be in for some. They're going to be in trouble, man. I honestly believe that.
I agree.
Now, the difference this year is I think Kalen DeBoer is a hell of an upgrade from an offensive coach than Bill O'Brien. Okay. I think he has an opportunity. There was some meat left on the bone last year with Alabama's offense that I didn't love the way BOB organized things. And I think that Kalen DeBoer has an opportunity to improve them greatly on that side of the ball. So whereas we were in that game and even controlled that game last year,
very much.
I don't know. You know what I mean? Does Kalen DeBoer do things differently in a way that they jump on Auburn and you're not allowed to utilize that kind of a game plan again, right?
Yeah.
Where they basically take you out of it to where you're having to throw the ball 50 times a game, which would not have worked for Auburn this time last year.
Yeah, you get up 17-0, Auburn's toast.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe this year it's not the case. Maybe it still will be. That's to be determined. And I think both teams, once we kind of have like the first 4 games of the year, will know better as far as kind of how to diagnose both teams moving forward and what they're capable of.
Good stuff, Mr. Darren. Fantastic. Just a great group out of Niceville tonight. Nice to represent.
Hello, guys. This is Don. How y'all doing?
Didn't even wait, baby. Just jumped right in. The water is warm.
Settle down.
What's going on, big dog?
What's up, Don?
Well, guys, I got some news. Everybody on the corner always picking on me about my Twin Peaks idea, so I decided to change it, fellas.
To what?
We're gonna wait for Jeffrey Lee and Alan both to be there. We can't do it without you two fellas.
Oh man, really? You sure? I don't mind.
But anyway, I know the corner will be proud of me. They love joking on me about my Twin Peaks and everything. But great restaurant, and want to give them a plug. But hey, guys, I got a couple of recruiting questions.
Shoot.
How about Cole? How about the kid from Thompson? I believe his name's Jared Smith. Do we still have a chance with him?
Jared
yes,
Smith,
sir.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think Auburn's got a chance with Jared Smith. I think Auburn's about to turn the heat up on him even more. So
Agreed.
I think that he's either number 1 or number 2 on the edge board.
Okay.
Was on campus Monday.
Jeffrey and Allen, have you ever heard the guy on the Georgia site named Lowndes?
Yeah.
Who?
Okay.
Lowndes?
Well, today he had an article about Juju Lewis and talked about Jimmy Rain and Yellowwood helping Auburn with the NIL money to get Juju Lewis.
Sure.
I don't know if y'all saw that or not.
I didn't, but would it surprise me that Jimmy Rain was donating to OTV? Absolutely not.
You better hope he is.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah. Well, guys, what's the rule on that? He would have to get the money to the on the victory, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. And hey, Cole, thank you for answering my question the other day about the dead period and
my favorite topic, that 7-on-7 tournament. But I don't know if you've had a chance to look at that school list yet, but there's probably 9 or 10 to a dozen Auburn recruits playing in that.
Yeah, I'll probably be there, Don. I think we can make that work.
Well, I got some news about that, and you're probably going to kill me because, when you're old, you double book and everything. I forgot I was going on vacation that weekend to Savannah.
So it has nothing to do with me and Alan.
No, there you go, Don.
Yeah, no, it did, but I do have an idea about something that we could all do together for a football game. Because I know y'all try to do a tailgate every year for a football game, right?
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I help run a delivery restaurant in Homewood, Alabama, and if you don't mind me giving the plug, it's called Stakeout, and I'll be glad to bring some burgers or steak sandwiches or something like that to the tailgate when y'all have it.
All right, fair enough.
I like it, Don.
But we're still going to do the 10,000 subscribers. I still want to help you out on that, and Twin Peaks has already told me they do it, fellas. But y'all go have a great night, and War Eagle to you.
Appreciate you, big dog.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
We got a finale going on here, Zach.
We do.
Finale coming up. Make it a
I
good
don't know
one.
this number either. 9158. You're live. Who are we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Hello.
Yellow.
Hey, y'all there?
Yeah,
we're here.
Hey, y'all. Sorry, my bad. We had a delay. I'm Alex. I work over in Niceville, by the way. Crazy.
Get out of town. Get out.
My math works, baby. This is
All right,
number
that's
4. Okay.
That's
I
it.
like
No more Twin Peaks. We're going to Niceville.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Sorry. So here's my question. My buddy and I have been having a debate for a long time. Who is the more talented overall running back duo between Tank and Jarquez, or Carrion and Petway?
Ooh, I like this one.
Well, I think
Now,
Petway's one of the
here's
more
my thought on it.
underrated value.
Now, Carrion's obviously the best, but outside of a 5-ish game stretch, Petway average second back at best. I'd take Tank and Jarquez.
I mean, if you're just talking talent, I think Tank Bigsby's the most talented.
Yes.
Pure
you see
natural
that
athletic
offensive
ability?
line?
Yeah, absolutely.
I love Petway, man.
I see.
What was that
Petway's
stat?
underrated in my opinion. I agree.
Me
with you,
too.
Jeffrey.
He's one of the more underrated backs in Auburn history.
And look, if he's not dinged up his senior year and dealing with some other things off the field, I mean,
What'd you ask, Zach?
I said, what was the stat with Tank? Wasn't it like he averaged like 0.02 yards before his first contact his last year?
yeah,
He had no blocking.
no.
It was atrocious. If
Now,
you switch him on that 2017 team, I think he has if he stays healthy, he can have a year just like Carry On.
Now, listen, if we have any offensive linemen from that team watching the show right now, I'm taking up for you a little bit because Tank didn't do what he was supposed to do all the time. All right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He sure didn't. He sure didn't. No, he was pretty good. But this is the thing, and this is what it doesn't. I think it's a great question, and I like answering these kind of questions. Talent is you're projecting that, okay? You're guessing. You're saying you're making a bet on a guy. You're saying this guy right here is going to be awesome for me. People are wrong on bets a lot, okay? This is a great example because Tank Bigsby, I think, is the most talented guy of that group. But Carrion Johnson was the best.
Yeah.
And he wasn't as talented as Tank Bigsby. It didn't matter. He made the most out of every carry. He knew how to do it.
He didn't miss reads either, man. That's to me, that's the difference.
Which is, I think Jarquez Hunter's pretty good when it comes to that. And I know a lot of people are wanting Jeremiah Cobb to overtake, and he's very flashy and talented. But right now, it's really, really hard to get Jarquez Hunter on the ground. I think we're forgetting that part. It's about yards. It's not about talent. Who gets you the most yards?
It's a tough question. That's why it's a great debate. Like, I could probably take either side. Dude, Cam Petway was a yards after contact monster.
Who was the fourth guy he said? He said Petway, Carrion Johnson, Tank, and Hunt. Was it Hunter?
Yes.
Jarquez.
How would y'all rank those in your opinion, most talented to least? I guess the least talented. You
So
want
I think Petway was least talented.
Yes.
I agree.
But I think in Gus's scheme, in a gap scheme where he was just able basically to get downhill, man. Whoo, buddy.
I would put Jarquez at 3.
Look, that 5-game stretch Petway went on where he was just trucking. Do you guys
He was a
remember that?
monster.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that Ole Miss
It
game.
was Christian Okoye, big dog. He was Christian
Yes.
Okoye.
There you go.
Bouncing
Jerome
folks
Bettis.
off of him. Yes.
Yeah.
But I would put Jarquez at 3. And
Yes.
I would
All
flip
right.
a coin with
How
Carry
about
On and
this?
Tank.
How about this? You're the linebacker. The hole opens wide up. One of these backs is coming downhill at you. Who's the one you don't want to tackle? Is it Petway?
It's Petway, hands
It's
down.
Petway
dude.
1,000%.
No,
He was
doubt.
what, like 240
Yes.
at running back?
And nothing but knees and elbows, son.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Now none
No,
of them would
dude.
be fun to tackle. None of them would be fun.
I'd probably rather tackle Carry On. Because I feel like he might try to spin move on me.
He's pretty
And I don't want
hard.
to tackle his
You know what I mean?
ass.
Might try to put you in the wash machine a little bit.
Yeah.
A little
See,
spin cycle.
I feel like Tank would do that.
So the stretch that Allen was talking about, Petway had 169 and 3 touchdowns at Mississippi State,
Yep.
192 and 2 against Arkansas, 236 and 1 at Ole Miss, and then had 173 against Vandy. And then the 2 weeks before Mississippi State, he put up 123 against Texas A&M, and then had another 150 in week 2.
And in the
Yes.
173 he put up against Vandy, he popped his hamstring and still scored
Yeah.
a touchdown from coming from the 50, man.
No, was
Yeah,
And then
he
still
did.
ran for 100 against Oklahoma when he came back from injury
Yes.
in the bowl game, even though we
Telling
lost
you,
that
dude,
game.
People forget about Petway.
You
And
know,
they shouldn't.
no, they shouldn't. And again, he was not in the best of shape his senior year. Kerryon Johnson had a phenomenal season that year. He deserves all the credit in the world.
Carry On Johnson made you forget about Petway.
He really did.
That's what happened.
If you'd have had both those guys at full health, that would have been a really nasty offense, man.
Because when he was healthy his senior year, he did play well. Because remember, I know we had that big game against Mercer. I'm not really counting that one, but he was our leading rusher against Clemson when Kerryon was hurt. That it was what 14-6.
Yeah.
I believe so,
that year in the season opener.
Yeah, that's when Stidham got sacked like 7 or 8 times.
God, that was I was a student at that time. That game was because I traveled to Clemson because my uncle coaches there. Man, it was brutal.
Yeah, it was. Jerry got just absolutely destroyed in the game. And guys, I'm going to give some inside baseball for the for the people that are watching this. If you see Cole's eyes light up when he talks about running back, his dad is a former running backs coach. He's a former running back himself. You're in his wheelhouse, guys. So call it as many running back questions as you want.
Well,
This is
listen,
Cole.
really, yes. I mean, my wheelhouse, I think, is offensive line, but
Mhm.
but running game in general, I get pretty fired up.
Yeah, he does. And I saw a little twinkle in his eyes, like, oh yes, bring on the running back question.
Someone was talking about running backs and said, "Do you guys remember Rock Thomas always spinning even when he didn't have to?"
Yeah.
In Auburn, he would always hit the B button.
Andy, oh, Andy Ackerman, man. I went to school with Andy Ackerman.
Okay,
Yeah.
Andy calling at the show sometime.
And you know what? Going back to full circle on the show, as we were, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes ago, Alvin Henderson tweeting at Caleb Cunningham today. Alvin Henderson tweeting at Elijah Melendez today.
There you go.
And
We
there you
tweeted
go.
at KJ Lacey yesterday.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very interesting. Hey, fantastic show, man. This was, I felt like the parameters put in place tonight
Yes.
helped. I think we had, I think the Niceville Auburn group got together and they just passed the phone around.
They did. We've got our own On 3 chapter in Niceville. You guys
Yeah.
didn't know it. Secret Society. It's all there.
Yes. We do not talk about it. Look, Kevin, big dog from Wilmer, 2 for 2, got the show started. Anthony was fantastic, as always. Wells from Gordo calling in. I think we had a couple of first-time callers.
Yeah,
Edward was fantastic. Ron from Fort Payne. How about Xander with a Z?
Yeah.
Xander with the Z. Bammer lover Carter was calling in. Darren, the unofficial mayor of Niceville, of our Niceville Auburn Club. Don come in with the Pikes Peak restaurant. And then Alex from, of course, Niceville finished us off. So, moving forward, we're getting closer and closer to commitment season. If we're not already there, dead period begins tomorrow. So you're going to see a lot more guys coming off the board. Y'all follow us all at Auburn Live on 3. We've still got the 2 months for $1. So this will get you damn near to the season. 2 months for $1 if you'll use the promo code capital A, capital U1. That is AU1. 2 months for $1 to Auburn Live. Again, if you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you want to help us out, man, support us on YouTube. That would be the easiest way to do it. We would absolutely appreciate it. We will do something special for that 10K. One more time, and listen, OTV, I'm telling y'all, we talked a lot of recruiting today. You're talking about these 5-star studs and all this big boy recruiting. If you want a big boy recruiting, you better do this right here. Support your OTV, man. Want to make a real difference? Join On to Victory for as little as $17 a month. You can get some. Give them $17, dude. You'll get some perks in return. Monthly giveaways, VIP events, behind-the-scenes content, cash back on your favorite brands. You'll get exclusive savings on OTV gear. Go to ontovictory.co, ontovictory.co, and join today for to help support these guys and some awesome benefits. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us tonight, man. We want to thank everybody for listening. We want to thank everybody for watching. For Alan Head, for Zach in the back who came to the front, for Cole Pinkston, I'm Jeffrey Lee, man. Y'all stay out of that left lane. See ya.